I might be the only guy in YouTube fake pro wrestling who gives you detailed perspectives on topics. Let's talk about Triple H and Shawn Michaels, right? There's a lot of people who have a misconception about Shawn Michaels and Triple H. They are very similar to Triple H and Vince McMahon. I'm talking about from 5 years ago, where Triple H was the man down in NXT. I'm talking about the black and gold brand. People said, man, I wish Triple H can run the company and Vince McMahon can go away. He's better than Vince McMahon at booking shows. Well, that did not age well, but Triple H and Shawn Michaels are very similar. Those two are a modern day Vince McMahon versus Triple H. Triple H is the new Vince McMahon, and Shawn Michaels is the new Triple H from 5-6 years ago. It's crazy how a lot of you people think that trainers and coaches share the same opinions on prospects. They don't. What I mean by that is Shawn Michaels versus Triple H. Have you seen that show? LFG. All those coaches always argue about their prospects because they don't share the same opinion about their prospects. That's real life. That's a shoot. That goes with Triple H and Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels and Triple H, they don't share the same opinion about their favorite fake pro wrestlers on the roster. Let's talk about Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo Hayes was a megastar under Shawn Michaels, but not so much under Triple H. And yes, most likely Carmelo Hayes will lose his feud against Malachi Black. What does that tell you? What has Carmelo Hayes done on the main roster for the past 2 years? Okay, whoop-de-doo. He won the Andre the Giant Battle Royal match. Okay, who cares? Whoop-de-doo. What will that do? Because most likely he's going to lose to Malachi Black. I bring this up because a lot of you marks think that Javon Evans is safe. You think that Javon Evans is untouchable. How? You think he's going to have a better career than Carmelo Hayes? Are you crazy? So far, what has Javon Evans done down in NXT compared to Carmelo Hayes? Carmelo Hayes was pushed down our throats under Shawn Michaels. And you think that Javon Evans is going to have a great career in NXT better than Carmelo Hayes? It's not a good thing. When Shawn Michaels is your mentor, it's not a good thing. Ask Patrick Clark. Patrick Clark always tells you that Shawn Michaels was his mentor. That's not a good thing. Hell, Ricochet, he recently said that Shawn Michaels was his mentor. Which company is Ricochet at right now as we speak? Where's he at? Let's talk about Giovanni Vinci. Last time I checked, Triple H pulled him out of NXT and he changed his gimmick back to being Gunther's henchman. What does that tell you? Giovanni Vinci had a great gimmick under Shawn Michaels, but for some strange reason, the moment Triple H became the big man in charge on the main roster, he pulled Giovanni Vinci out of NXT and he paired him back up with Ludwig Kaiser and Gunther to become their henchman. That did not age well because last time I checked, Giovanni Vinci got fired and they broke up Imperium. What's crazy is Triple H gave Giovanni Vinci back his gimmick that Shawn Michaels gave him. What did that do for Giovanni Vinci's character and his push? It did nothing. This man lost to Apollo Crews. The moment Triple H gave him back that gimmick, he lost to Apollo Crews and he became a jobber. He was buried on night 1. Okay, let's talk about Dragunov. What has Dragunov done on the main roster? I'm talking about before he got injured. His job was to put over Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker is a favorite of Triple H. What does that tell you? Dragunov was a favorite of Shawn Michaels. This should be talked about. Stop being blind. Javon Evans is not safe. This man is a tall, skinny black man. Wow. And he's black? And he's black? What makes you think he's safe on the main roster? Are you tone deaf? Usain Marks told me that Carmelo Hayes had a bright future. You told me that Carmelo Hayes was going to be a fucking megastar on the main roster. Is he? No. Carmelo Hayes is a mid-card guy. He will never be a main eventer on the main roster. Please, I hope you understand that now. I was right about Carmelo Hayes. He's not going to be a main eventer on the main roster. I hope you get that through your goddamn skull. Okay, let's talk about Mustafa Ali, a favorite of Shawn Michaels. Where's he at? This man got caught up. Well, he got called back down to NXT, and he was booked under Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels gave him a good, decent push. He revitalized his career. But what did that do? It did nothing. He still got released, even though he looked pretty damn good under the guidance of Shawn Michaels, which means Ali was a favorite of Shawn Michaels. But where's he at? Ali was buried on the main roster. Okay, let's talk about Baron Corbin, the same Baron Corbin who he actually put over Braun Breaker. Actually, Baron Corbin was over when he was in NXT under Shawn Michaels. Baron Corbin revitalized his career under Shawn Michaels, but the moment Baron Corbin got called back up on the main roster, he got released, and Triple H did not book him or use him. What does that tell you? Another Shawn Michaels favorite bites the dust. And you think Javon Evans is safe? Nigga, I don't care about his age. Age is overrated in fake pro wrestling. Ask Rene Dupree. Age is overrated in fake pro wrestling. Stop talking about a guy's age. What does that do? Who cares? You said Austin Theory was young. Where's he at? Age don't matter. Cora Jade was 24 and Cora Jade got cut. Age don't matter in fake pro wrestling. It's about, are you talented and do you have upside? You want to tell me that Javon Evans, he has upside because he might get better at promos? Well, what if he doesn't? Promos are not an overnight thing. Sometimes wrestlers, they never become great promos. Just ask Benjamin Shelton. Not everybody will be a great promo. Stop relying on age. Sometimes being a great promo is not in you. You gotta be born to be a great promo. Ask Roman Reigns. It took Roman Reigns damn near 8 years to become a decent, good promo. What does that tell you? Promos are not an overnight thing. It doesn't take one night to be Ric Flair on the microphone. That takes years. Sometimes you might never be a great promo on that microphone. So please, shut the hell up about Javon Evans. Now, I said that Javon Evans, he's not safe, because I've seen better fake pro wrestlers get released by the World Wrestling Federation, who's better than Javon Evans. And for him to call Tony Khan a crackhead, are you stupid? You are not untouchable. Yes, Shawn Michaels likes you, but that's not good. Shawn Michaels' favorites either get released on the main roster or they become low-tier mid-card guys who become jobbers. Okay, fun fact. Did you know that JD McDonagh is a favorite of Shawn Michaels? Do you believe that JD will be a great wrestler on the main roster? Do you see star main event material when you watch JD McDonagh? No, you do not. JD is a mid-card guy. JD is a jobber on Raw. Literally, JD is a job guy. Okay, let's talk about Dragon Lee. Dragon Lee was a favorite of Shawn Michaels. In fact, Dragon Lee is a former North American champion. Did you forget that? Yes, he is. What has he done on the main roster besides become the most recent Speed World Heavyweight Champion? That's it. Dragon Lee, his upside is he is now a Need for Speed Heavyweight Champion. That's how Triple H sees him, as nothing more than a Need for Speed World Heavyweight Champion. And recently, his job was to put over El Grande. How about you let that sink in? His job was to put over El Grande. And guess what? The fans got mad because they felt like El Grande buried Dragon Lee, right? So what does that tell you, right? Nobody is safe on the main roster. You are not safe as a Shawn Michaels guy because there's a friendly rivalry between Triple H and Shawn Michaels. If Triple H pushes a Shawn Michaels guy on the main roster, well, that will admit that Shawn Michaels was right. And Shawn Michaels knows talent. He knows what he's talking about. Well, Triple H doesn't want to admit that. That's why he buries Shawn Michaels guys. What about Cameron Grimes? Cameron Grimes, his best run in the World Wrestling Federation, it was under Shawn Michaels. Where's Cameron Grimes? Cameron Grimes was a favorite of Shawn Michaels. Where's he at? Right? Where's Cameron Grimes? And how come Triple H did not use him on the main roster? Because that will admit that Shawn Michaels knows talent. Well, Triple H, he thinks he knows more than Shawn Michaels. So when Javon Evans gets called up on the main roster, he's not safe. In fact, I predict that Javon Evans, he's going to be a low-tier mid-card guy. First off, Javon Evans doesn't have any charisma. What do you marks see in Javon Evans? He doesn't have any upside. He's tall and he weighs 170. What are the odds that this man is going to add on muscle and weight? This man, he looks like Juice WRLD. Also, we just found out that Javon Evans, he's arrogant based on everything he said about Ricochet. Well, eventually, Triple H is going to humble this kid once he gets called up to the main roster. The fact that he was bragging about being trained and mentored by Shawn Michaels, you think Triple H wants to see that? Shawn Michaels' favorites, they do not do well on the main roster. I'm going to keep on saying it. Carmelo Hayes is going to lose against Malachi Black on SmackDown eventually. Okay, let's talk about another Shawn Michaels favorite. Let's talk about Pretty Deadly. Where are they at? They are a main roster comedy joke. Actually, people are shocked that those two men did not get released. What does that tell you? Those are Shawn Michaels guys, and yet Triple H doesn't want to use those guys. The fact that Triple H, he gave DIY tag team titles. He gave Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley tag team championships. Well, I think in week 1 or week 2, those were early tag team champions. I'm talking about Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley. So Triple H would rather push Motor City over Pretty Deadly that fast. Listen, Pretty Deadly has done nothing on the main roster. Those two men are jobbers. They are a joke under Triple H. They are a comedy act. They will never become tag team champions. But when they were in NXT under Shawn Michaels, they were tag team champions. How come they are not tag team champions under Triple H? Right. I'm right. Let's talk about Santos Escobar and his crew. They are jobbers now. I hope you know that. Santos is a job guy on SmackDown. When he was under Shawn Michaels, he was being pushed. Remember, I think it was Tony D'Angelo versus Santos Escobar. Remember, that was a great feud that Shawn Michaels booked. Santos was a star under Shawn Michaels, but not so much under Triple H. Santos is a job guy now on SmackDown, alongside Garza and Humberto. Those three men are jobbers, but when they were in NXT, they were not. Santos was booked great under Shawn Michaels, but not under Triple H. Another Shawn Michaels favorite who failed on the main roster under Triple H. Like I said, I'm trying to warn you, I'm trying to temper your expectations with Javon Evans. It was dumb for him to call out Tony Khan, because now this man has no more leverage. He has no more backup plan. I don't care, dog. All Elite Fake Pro Wrestling is the second biggest company in the world. Tony Khan pays you more than Triple H. That's my point. So why would you burn that bridge? Fun fact, Pac is making $1 million. A mid-card guy in All Elite Fake Pro Wrestling, he makes $1 million per year. Him, Pac? Tony Khan, he hands out big contracts to low-tier mid-card guys. So yes, it was dumb for Javon Evans to burn that bridge. Hell, Tony Khan overpaid to re-sign Isaiah Swerve Scott, a man that I compare Javon Evans to. You are dumb and clueless and reckless if you do not want to steal money from Tony Khan. You are dumb. Let's speak facts. Eventually, Javon Evans will be released by the World Wrestling Federation. Nobody is safe, okay? Javon Evans, he's not safe. TKO, they release Shawn Michaels favorites every year. Patrick Clark was a Shawn Michaels favorite, and guess what? He was not safe. His ass got fired. And Patrick Clark was a more promising prospect than Javon Evans. Hell, John Cena put over Patrick Clark. And yes, let's talk about that match that Javon Evans had with Randy Orton. The same Javon Evans who was botching in that match. Everybody saw it. Javon was botching in that match. Like I said, I don't care about his age. Age is irrelevant in Fake Pro Wrestling. How about Grayson Waller? What is Grayson Waller doing on the main roster? He's doing nothing besides jobbing out and watching Austin Theory job out. Grayson Waller is another Shawn Michaels favorite. Like I said, stop talking about Javon Evans versus Randy Orton, because last time I checked, Shawn Michaels also booked AJ Styles versus Grayson Waller, a young Grayson Waller. What did that do for the future of Grayson Waller? It did nothing. So please, stop jerking off to a legend wrestling a young guy. It makes no difference. It doesn't mean anything. Okay, let's talk about the Creed brothers. They were pushed under Shawn Michaels. What has the Creed brothers done on the main roster? Nothing. The Creed brothers are jobbers, literally. They are young jobbers on Raw. They are not close to winning those tag team championships. But Triple H, he's pushing El Grande, but he's not pushing the Creed brothers. The Creed brothers are Shawn Michaels' favorites. Let's talk about Tyler Bate. Will Triple H ever push Tyler Bate as a main event guy? Hell no. He would never push Tyler Bate as a main eventer. And guess what? Tyler Bate is a favorite of Shawn Michaels. What has Tyler Bate done on the main roster besides reuniting with Pete Dunne? He has done nothing. Tyler Bate is a mid-card guy. Another guy that was a Shawn Michaels favorite who hasn't done a damn thing on the main roster. Even before he got injured, he was doing nothing of note. Let's talk about Dijak. Where's he at? They sent Dijak back down to NXT under Shawn Michaels, and everybody and their mama was a fan of how Shawn Michaels was booking Dijak. Shawn Michaels revitalized the career of Dijak. That's true. But where's he at? Why didn't Triple H call up Dijak on the main roster after what Shawn Michaels did for Dijak? Okay? Bro, I'm right. I'm always right. Triple H does not respect Shawn Michaels' favorites. Still to this day, people are shocked that Dijak got released because most fans were excited about seeing that version of Dijak on the main roster. But you forgot one thing. Dijak was a Shawn Michaels favorite. Triple H hates Shawn Michaels favorites. Like I said, wake me up when Triple H pushes a Shawn Michaels favorite on the main roster who's a man. I'm talking about on the men's side. When was the last time that Triple H booked a Shawn Michaels favorite at a pay-per-view? When was the last time Carmelo Hayes had a pay-per-view match on the main roster? When? What about LA Cosplay? Triple H is a fan of LA Cosplay, but not so much Shawn Michaels. LA Cosplay, he did nothing when he was in NXT. He ain't do a damn thing. In fact, he was jobbing. Listen, my whole entire point is, if you are trying to be a fake pro wrestler, do not burn bridges, because you never know who might be your boss next week or tomorrow. You never know. Your job is not safe. Cora Jay's job was not safe. Gigi was not safe. Who else? Eddie Thorpe was not safe. Nobody is. If Patrick Clark got released, then Javon Evans can also get released. And guess what? I believe he will. Years from now, I believe Javon Evans will be released because he's not a Triple H guy. And he's not a blue chip athlete like a Braun Breaker. What are the odds of Triple H pushing Javon Evans. Are you crazy? Hell, you marks are begging Triple H to push Montez Ford. So, what makes you think he's going to push Javon Evans if he's not pushing Carmelo Hayes? Those two men are better than Javon Evans. I can't believe Javon Evans burned his all-elite fake pro wrestling contacts. He burned that bridge. And now, the moment Javon Evans gets released by the World Wrestling Federation, most likely, he's going to become an indie journeyman, just like Zack Ryder. I would rather sign with All Elite Fake Pro Wrestling over being the next Zack Ryder. I want to be stable. No, bitch, I want one contract. You see, here's my point. Javon Evans, he should have either ignored Ricochet or he should have just gave Ricochet a playful jab. Like, hey, leave me alone, you bald-headed fuck. At least that. But he went over the line. He went overboard. Why are you calling Tony Khan Man a crackhead? What did Tony Khan Man do to you? Okay, here's what I mean by Shawn Michaels favorites versus Triple H favorites. Let's talk about Carmelo Hayes versus Braun Breaker. Fun fact, Carmelo Hayes, he beat Braun Breaker for the NXT World Heavyweight Championship twice on multiple occasions with Paul Heyman in his corner. So, who's running NXT? It's Shawn Michaels. So, of course, Carmelo Hayes is going to beat Braun Breaker in his world. But on the main roster, Carmelo Hayes would never beat Braun Breaker. You see, those are two different worlds. Those are two different bosses. On the main roster, Braun Breaker would squash Carmelo Hayes. But under Shawn Michaels, Carmelo Hayes beats Braun Breaker multiple times. That's what I mean. Who's being pushed on the main roster more, Braun or Carmelo Hayes? Which man is a multiple-time IC champion? Which man has Paul Heyman and Rollins in his corner? Who's about to feud with CM Junk and Roman Reigns? Carmelo Hayes or Braun Breaker? So yes, Braun Breaker, he was never a favorite of Shawn Michaels. He was a Triple H guy. Shawn Michaels had no choice but to push Braun Breaker because that was a request from Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard and Triple H. Shawn Michaels had no choice but to push Braun Breaker.